Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well. It's your main man Anil coming live once again for Inner Lion Fitness Podcast. We're on episode 10 of 2026, and today I'm going to be going through how you can burn stubborn fat here in Lion Fitness. So let's dive right in. Guys, young and grown men, I'm sure by now you've encountered trying to burn stubborn fat. Perhaps you're much further away from your ideal body. Perhaps you're at the point where you're close to losing all of the weight and you just find that there's those stubborn pounds that just don't seem to come off. Very difficult to get them off. You're doing everything that you can, you're working out, and for some reason that weight isn't moving. But I can help you today. You see, with stubborn fat, what happens is the body gets used to a certain pattern. So we may have a regimen, we may have a routine that works that helps us to lose weight, but at a certain point, the body may decide just to stay at the same weight. Now, at this point, it's about changing your approach. And of course, as you know, what it's about is the sheer amount of output as well as the intake of macros. But this isn't to be unrealistic. This isn't to be going over the top. This isn't about lots of hours in the gym. What it's about is understanding, okay, here's my calorie intake. I may have to reduce some part of my portion by 30%, but I may have to slightly increase my workout by that 30%. Once you make those little shifts, you start to see the difference in burning that stubborn fat. So what will happen is you'll reach a point where you lose a certain amount of weight, you'll get close to your ideal weight, and then you may plateau at that point, and that's where the stubborn fat just feels like it's staying on. And it's because your body has got used to that amount of workout and that amount of calorie intake. But here's how you can change it. So let's say you got 200 grams of protein and you're doing that, with your chicken or your veg protein. I have veg protein because I'm vegetarian, and that's working with you up to a point. But then you get to a stage where you're like, I'm not losing any more weight. I seem to be the same weight. I'm not gaining any. What do I do? At that point, slightly reduce it down to, let's say, 150 grams of protein, and then make up for that 50-gram loss somewhere else in the broccoli or the carrots or the roast veg that you're having. And naturally, reduce your carbs if you can, of course, being sustainable. But then at the point of the workout, that's where you got to train to failure a bit more. That's where you got to push yourself a little bit more. For me, I've noticed this recently, in the last year and a half, I've had a sedentary lifestyle. I was 12 stone 7. I was in, ideal shape, tip top shape. And out of nowhere, with a lot of stressful situations, the weight came on. I did nothing to cause that. I ate very healthy. I stayed healthy and I continued to eat three, square meals every day, following the pattern that has helped me to stay in shape this long, 15 plus years. And for some reason, I was reaching this point where it was just stubborn fat. It wasn't moving. Now, there's a few combinations of factors here. Number one, it was a lot of stress that I was going through. So even with managing that stress with meditation, guys, when you go through a stressful situation like a trauma or something that is very difficult, in your personal life or your professional life, that does have an impact, that does create, some stress in the body. Number two is a sedentary lifestyle. We're increasingly working from home. We don't really have to go out as much. We don't really interact as much and go to the office. So that is one other factor. And then the third factor is actually the body getting used to that calorie intake and actually following that same pattern. So this is where we got to change it now. And this isn't about going 2 hours into the gym. Let's say you have, a workout where you're doing weights. Add about 10 minutes on the treadmill, add about 15 minutes on the treadmill. I saw a big difference in doing that more recently because I know with this sedentary lifestyle, that's actually, the reason why I've gained 10 pounds alongside the stresses that have been going on. So I said, okay, well, look, the weight wasn't coming off, but now I've got to take it off somehow. I've got to remove it. I've got to, burn this stubborn fat. How can I do that? Cardio. I do my weights first, then I do my cardio. I built myself up first 10 minutes, I was gassing out at 10 minutes, but then I got to 20 minutes on the treadmill. And, there were times where I would even burn out at 10 minutes. But instead of just saying, okay, 10 minutes and done, I would do the 10 minutes. I might be gassing out, but then I pause, I take 2 minutes, I take a sip of water, and then I finish the workout and go for the last 10 minutes on the treadmill. That's going to help you to start burning the stubborn fat as well. Now, this is one of the ways that I've been able to do it now successfully. So I went to London weighing 13 stone 4. I gained about 5 pounds to 13 stone 9. And today I'm now 13 stone 3. And this is the lightest that I've been now for 6 months. And I'm now pushing to get back to 12 stone 7. So I've got 10 pounds to go. And it's quite, a significant amount. I accept that I'm 32 years old and my body isn't the way it used to be in my younger years of my 20s, 25, 6, where I could burn 3 or 4 pounds a week. I may have to go 1 pound at a time, but it's like that Rocky analogy. We go one step at a time, one punch at a time, and we keep on going. And it's not about being discouraged. What you got to do psychologically to burn that stubborn fat is to aim for 2 pounds lost. As an adult, if you're a grown man in your late 20s and 30s, that's a realistic amount of weight. Aim for 2 pounds in your mind, take these actions of reduce your protein or carbs slightly, make up for it in the broccoli or the carrots that you're having, increase the amount of cardio you're doing, increase your cardio through daily walks, do a bit of yoga as well to de-stress and to reset the body. And what you'll start seeing, you just slowly start losing that weight. And you aim for 2 pounds, but you might actually lose 1 pound that week. But the way to view it is 1 pound at a time, because sometimes when we think, oh yeah, we just got to shift 3 every single week, it just doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of effort, as you know, to burn 1 pound of fat, but it seems to take no effort to gain 3 pounds of fat with eating junk food. And we all understand that. But that's what you got to do to lose stubborn fat. It's a process, it takes determination. My personal trainer used to say, persistence overcomes resistance, and that's absolutely true. But ultimately, what you got to do as well, while you're burning this stubborn fat, is be aligned with your deeper why. You got to train with your deeper why in your heart. What is your deeper why, guys? Young and grown men, I want you to really think about that. In all of the pain that you've experienced, in everything that you've gone through, weight loss and struggling with it, what is your deeper why? I'm going to share my deeper why. My deeper why is I need to be strong. I want to be able to defend myself, and I want to be able to protect my family in the future and be the strong man for my wife and children. That's my deeper why. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me boxing. That's what keeps me sparring. That's what keeps me, hitting the gym and doing 3 rounds of boxing, even though I'm absolutely tired. That's what gets me through it, and that's how I've managed to get this far. I want you to really understand what is your deeper why in spite of all this pain, and go towards that deeper why, and you'll find yourself. Trust me, you'll find who you really are. Once you get in alignment with that deeper why, the persistence starts coming, you start to gain more courage, and you start to burn that stubborn fat. That is how you can do it. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Have a great bank holiday weekend. I'm in this nice attire because the sun is out. Get some sun on you, go for a walk, feel good, get away from the devices, and stay blessed. As I'd say, everybody, channeling it in a Rocky. It's been great. DM me at immunityforcommunity@gmail.com, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook if you are ready to write your new story and to channel your inner Rocky over here at Inner Lion Fitness. Take care now. Have a blessed weekend.